Jupiter in Taurus is a very, very stabilizing placement. It is a placement filled with all kinds of material security and stability. It is full of the quality of moving slowly and steadily towards a goal. And really making something happen in those kind of ways that are not so grandiose and not so risky, but something more stable, more secure. It is about creating something of lasting value, appreciating the sensual world of material possessions, and really getting so good at something that you're continually doing it, that you're continually practicing it. And you are sticking solidly and securely to that thing so much that you get so good at it. And then you become expert at it and all those kind of things. Now, this is a video that I am completing out of a series of videos on Jupiter that I did in this podcast. I did do a couple of videos on my YouTube channel back at the early part of 2026, and this is one of those videos, Jupiter and Taurus, on my channel. It is a video that you can go check out. It's 22 minutes long, but I wanted to do a podcast here. I just wanted to give it a little bit of time before I did that, so that everything is sort of fresh and, interesting again, to really discuss this meaning, because I think it's really important that I do a podcast, because this is the Jupiter that I would want to have in my chart. Like, if I were to design my chart, I would have my moon, Jupiter, and North Node all in the signs of Taurus. And Jupiter is expansion. It's abundance. It's what makes you feel good, what makes you feel lucky and secure and feeling so like your life is moving in an expansive direction. You're going on the telephone lines, you're going all over the town cities, and you're really living life up very, very strongly. And so, with Jupiter in Taurus, it's very much about values and enjoying the sensual world and making the most out of it. And that's what I would like as a stable influence. I have Jupiter in Virgo, which is probably one of the least comfortable placements for Jupiter, because Virgo is very small little details and the little small little things that you have to fix in the mundane practical reality. And Jupiter in Virgo is also very mundane. It deals a lot with the mundane practical world, with what, functions in this mundane practical world. And so, this is what, Jupiter in, Virgo is. Before I go on, I want to address, that it is official that Spotify has fixed the issue that was there for a couple of days, because for a couple of days, when I posted, it didn't, I had to, ask, some, them to help me get it posted, but, it's posted now, and if it should ever happen, again, where it doesn't post, I'll just ask them for help, and then see if they can, figure out if there's an issue, whatever, but I don't think it's going to happen that way. So I'm very happy and thankful that I am back, that things are back the way they are on Spotify. And this Pluto retrograde that I'm recording this in now is really making it very difficult to compartmentalize all this stuff. So for the next several recordings, I may be doing it with this insecurity inside of me, like it may happen again, where it may be, where it may not post, but I'll get over that the more I do these videos and more comfortable. But at least I acknowledge that, and the rest, it's just a feeling now. So if that's there, then that is what it is, and I'm not going to expect myself to be in the perfect state of being, in the perfect state of mind to do these videos. So that's perfectionism, and that will really make you unhappy. So Jupiter in Taurus, Jupiter in Virgo can't see the forest for the trees, has trouble seeing the big picture and get so caught in perfectionism and criticizing itself and beating itself up for its mistakes that it cannot feel a good sense of self-worth about itself, because it is not compassionate towards itself. Taurus is a very, very loving sign towards itself. It really, really values itself. And for a lot of reasons, because of how stable and grounding Taurus is, I vastly prefer Taurus over the sign of Virgo, although there are some, the sign of Virgo is very, very important, but honestly, it's my least favorite sign in the entire zodiac. You know, Scorpio is second to that, although Scorpio is really, really interesting and complex and layered, and there's a lot of emotional value to it. So I placed Scorpio second to my least favorite signs. But anyway, wish I had this placement on my chart. It would be my choice of placements, my favorite Jupiter placement. I want to delve in here to this information that I want to discuss with you, hopefully within an hour's time. So stick around, get comfortable if you're really, really thinking about sticking around here and spending time with me for a good hour, or a little bit over an hour, I don't know, going through all of this. So Jupiter represents your philosophy over life. It is the philosophy that you have. It is, Jupiter is really, the abundance that you have over life. It's really, really your greatest philosophy and your greatest look and perspective over life that makes you feel happy and expansive and and full of joy. Really, Jupiter is the joy factor. It's, it's the fun factor. It is very much about having a solid, positive, and optimistic view of life, and philosophy on life. When it comes to all these very Jupiterian things like philosophy and travel and higher education, all these things that gets wrapped up with Jupiter when it comes to all these things that it embodies in a way. So, Jupiter rules over your perspective towards life. So let's talk about the fixed signs first of all, because the fixed signs are Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius, and all of these fixed signs are very, very much about habitually, doing things very, very habitually. Because they're all about habits. Fixed signs are fixed. They're fixed, excuse me. They're fixed. They stick to doing the same things over and over and over again. They're very, very stubborn signs. They don't like to bend. They don't like to change a whole lot. They don't like to rearrange their lives and move over to another hashtag, to move over to the next game station of what they're trying to achieve. So, what happens with these signs is that they tend to want to do the same things over and over and over again. That's their, sort of speciality of doing things over and over and over again, because of the familiarity of it, because of the comfort of it, because of the security of it. Like Taurus is the most stubborn sign of the zodiac. It does the same things over and over again because it likes the familiarity of it. It likes the security and the comfort of that. And fixed signs, really have a will to them that is absolutely remarkable. Jupiter in Taurus likes to see the results of things. What it really, really likes to see is it likes to see those real world results. Like, it likes to see that what it's doing has tangible value out in the outside world. It likes to see that if you're going to mass market a business, it's going to rise up in sales and rise up in customers and rise up in docks and beaks and peaks for the graphs. It likes to see that with those real world achievements come real world accomplishments and paybacks. It likes to see that things pay off in a way. It likes to see the payoff of things. Likes to see how things can yield real world results. With all these kind of things, with what it is really doing, really, really likes to see those results with what it does from their efforts, and it wants to create security and beauty in its lives. It wants to really, really cultivate this and create security and stability. Like Jupiter and Taurus, I did the video about this back in 2023, and how they want to create security and stability for themselves. Like Taurus is into something that's set, into a certain structure, into a certain way of being, into a certain life that is stuck and stable, that's not going to change, that's not going to bend easily. It wants something secure, something like the earth, how the earth doesn't move, how the earth doesn't break, how the earth doesn't change, yet it does through the seasons. And that's the whole thing with Taurus. You need to understand that change is the only constant, and change is a necessary process of growth and evolution, and and the earth's processes. So that is really what it comes down to, is creating a lot of security and beauty, because Taurus is the earth. Taurus is beauty. It's all the beautiful trees and the beautiful flowers and everything like that. So it does want to put that into the wheel. So, what they want to do is they want to do things that can be appreciated and valued over time. It's not interested in something that you can appreciate and really enjoy temporarily and it goes away, but something that you can enjoy over a long period of time, that lasts a long period of time, that really, really makes it so that it becomes very, very worthwhile to experience that thing, because you know that it's not going to go away. Like, isn't it more enjoyable to really, really make the most of something when you know that it's not going to go away, when it's going to stay, when it's going to be stable, and it's not going to change very, very easily, that you can rely on it to be there to really, really milk the most out of it and enjoy and savor the deliciousness and pleasure of that thing. So, it is very, very interested in tangible efforts, beauty, and sensuality. Jupiter in Taurus is incredibly sensual and finds a lot of luck and growth in this life through the five senses. It really, really grows through the taste, touch, smell, hear, see. All these kind of things which are Taurus matters in the physical world. And it really likes to bask in pleasure and pleasure in these kind of things when it comes to all these five senses that exist out in the world. All these five senses. So with these five senses, come, all the kind of things, like that. So they're very, very interested on, sensuality, really, really making the most of those small moments in life. Like Taurus represents the small moments of life, the small meaningful moments that we make throughout our day that are based on our five senses. The coffee in the morning we were doing, the orange juice in the morning, the breakfast, the dinner, the music that we listen to, going outside in nature and breathing fresh air, hearing the birds song, seeing the flowers. All that we can enjoy through our five senses is represented by Taurus energy. It's really, really huge. So, for somebody with Jupiter and Taurus, they are really willing to go through the long, necessary process in order to get to their goals. They're willing to take it slow and steady. They're willing to take it one step at a time in order to get from one place to another. And it understands that things are going to take time. Things are not going to take overnight in one full swoop and in one full sweep. And things are going to take as long as they're going to take. It's about enjoying the journey of that. It's about really, really making the most of the journey from one thing to another, making the most of the trek, of the path from getting to one place to another, and really, really, doing what brings your heart joy. Doing what gives you soul satisfaction and groundedness when it comes to being in those grounded processes of movement. So it really, really values slow and steady progress. Like Taurus isn't just jumping and moving very fast and rapidly and impulsive and impatient and all about instant gratification. Like Aries says, Taurus moves in a way that is slow and steady, stable over time, where it moves from one place to another, from one when it has a goal, it puts one foot in front of the other, one step in front of the other, and it is willing to be steady, to be steadfast with it, to take its time with whatever goal that it achieves. So Jupiter in Taurus is really all about growing your wealth, growing your material wealth, making money, getting income. The second house corresponds to Taurus, which represents the money that you earn. It also represents achieving something slow and steadily, as opposed to rushing that thing, as opposed to working so hard for it. And so it's about slowly and surely creating something that can last for a very, very long time. In a way, because that's what Taurus is. It's a slow and steady process of getting something that can stand the test of time with what it is I'm doing. Sorry if you're hearing sounds of trains and construction outside. There's construction going on in the hotel room that I'm at right now. I'm in Rochester for my health. So if you're hearing those sounds from the outside, I do apologize. So there is slow and sure growth for something over a long period of time. They want to invest in things over time. They're all about material investments. They're all about making a lot of very, very strong investments and creating tangible value. And creating something that's long lasting, creating something that has matter, that has way that you can touch it, taste it, feel it, see it, hear it, sense it in the physical world. That's what they're concerned about. They want to build solid foundations. That's what they're interested in, is starting at the very, very bottom of something very, very stable and building their way up. They have a lot of really great taste in quality with things. They're very, very interested in the quality of things and how good of a quality that thing is. They're really interested in the value of things. They're very into the beauty and sensory experiences that enhance your life. Those experiences that we can enjoy. Everyday types of things, like, when we wake up in the morning, the music that we can listen to, the people that we can interact with in our daily life, the simple pleasures in our life is really what it's into. And it has a lot of practical wisdom and love for quality. It's very, very huge on that. When it comes to practical, having a lot of, you can give wisdom over this material world. It knows how to work its magic in the material world very, very well. And through all of its work and accumulation and slow and steady efforts and building up money and wealth and working and achieving its goals slowly and steadily, through those experiences and through that knowledge that it gains through those experiences, it can acquire and cobble together a lot of wisdom that it can then share onto others. Remember, Jupiter is bounty, Jupiter is generosity. So there is a love for quality. There's a love for things being of high quality. They can really, really thrive in possessions where they can create lasting value, something that can, something that they're creating that can last for a long time. And so they're really, really all about valuing things and getting things of value. That's what they're really all about, is, receiving back, working very, very hard, very, very slowly and steadily for something that has a lot of tangible physical value to it, for something that has a lot of value in its understanding and its quality with what it has to offer when it comes to that thing itself, with that thing being very, very valuable. And I don't want to overemphasize that point. it values its possessions. It's very, very connected to its values. Jupiter in Taurus is really in it for the long game. It's very, very steadfast. Fixed signs are very, very stubborn because they're in it for the long haul. They're not going to give up easily. They're only going to give up if it's absolutely necessary to give up, if there's absolutely no way that they can continue on the course that they're on and continue moving on that path. If they're moving on a path and they're like, I cannot go any further with this at all, then they're going to change path. But if it's going well and somebody says you should change your path, well, they're not going to want to do that. They're going to be resistant to change. They're going to be stubborn in the way of continuing to be on that path. So, Jupiter in Taurus is really in it for the long game. It's committed to seeing something through to completion. Taurus is a sign of stick-it-to-itness, follow-through, staying the course, being steadfast, as I said before. Jupiter in Taurus can easily, very, very easily, in this material world, see things through to completion. Jupiter in Taurus is very, very stubborn, and the reason why it's very, very stubborn is that it believes in itself, this life. It believes in its abilities, it believes in its talents, it believes in the goals that it's achieving very, very strongly. Believes in all that it can put out and actually do in this material world so much that it stays the course. It may sit in a certain place for a very, very, the thing with Taurus is that it's very, very stable sign. It sits in a place for a very, very long period of time. Just looking at it. Just observing it. Just seeing all the little trees, the birds, the grass, the environment. To really, really study it. And really, really sit and reflect on it and see the deeper meaning, the deeper philosophical and spiritual meaning of that thing. And it takes all the time in the world to observe that place, to observe wherever it is in with whatever it's doing. It gains insight into that thing in a certain way. And so and then what's going on is it's inside of itself, it's reflecting. Things are cooking up. Inside the volcano, all the rocks and the lava are cooking, are simmering. They're reflecting. Everything's getting boiled and tossed around and sauteed and pureed and all that kind of stuff. Like, they may be very, very stone mountain, very, very still and somber and stable, but inside, all of their juices of what they're thinking about, of what they're reflecting on, is moving about, is being very, very wrapped up in what it is, in what it is doing. And so, it's like a deep crevice. That's what it is a deep crevice of its existence. Jupiter in Taurus wants to grow something sustainable. Wants something to last for the test of time. It's like, I repeat this example over and over again. Why you build a building? Well, it's not just for 2 weeks or 1 day or a couple of days, or whatever. It's for a long, long time. So, Taurus builds something that it wants. Very, very, Taurus harvests a field of trees for whatever reason because it wants the sustainability, wants that long-term ability. With growing something very, very sustainable for what it is doing. And it wants to create a stable home for itself. Jupiter in Taurus is concerned with stability and creating something stable and long-lasting. It wants something with structure, form, and substance. It's very, very huge for Jupiter in Taurus. It may go in the same direction when it is sure of something. When it is sure of something, when it has its eyes set on something, when it's confident on something, when it's absolutely confident and sure about its abilities and very, very strong within itself about what it's doing and what directions it's going in, it will stick to that thing fully. It's very, very repetitive. If it goes in a particular direction and it's like, well, I like this direction and I'm actually succeeding and I'm actually getting somewhere with this direction. I'm actually moving successfully. I'm actually making good ground in this direction, making good traction. Progress is coming. I feel grounded. I feel secure. I feel like I'm really, really utilizing the gifts of this material world well. Then it will be very, very repetitive in that kind of way. And it runs on rinse and repeat. Rinses and repeat, does the same things over and over again because that's Taurus energy. It's very, very stable and reliable. It wants to dedicate itself to something completely. Dedicating, fixed signs, Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, when they dedicate themselves to something, when they have their mind and their sights set on something, then they are fully dedicated to it. They are fully dedicated to that thing, and they will be full on, going in and, achieving that thing, completely. And they are so devoted because it's fixed. It's fixed energy means that they are loyal to that thing that they are doing. They are loyal to that goal that they are trying to work towards and aim for in life. So they dedicate themselves to that, and they really put their whole heart into it and grow from it. That's what they're all about, is how they can grow from the commitment that they have with things. Jupiter in Taurus takes the existing form of something that already exists in this physical, tangible world with what it is doing, with that physical form. Like it wants to take, a couch, make this the most beautiful, most comfortable, and the most luxurious and affordable couch for people. It wants to recreate it and reinvent it. It practices something over and over again till perfection. Not because of the need to perfect something like Virgo, but for the stability and security of it, to get good at it over time. It really, really wants to build its craft and work on its craft to practice something, because it really, really believes in practicing something over and over and over again to make that thing the best that it can be. Because Jupiter in Taurus is all about quality. So if they're all about quality, they're all about practicing those things. So, it's about the shadows of displacement. It's about not holding yourself back from spiritual growth. Understanding that material growth isn't completely the picture. You can grow materially in this physical world with money, possessions, and all that. But sometimes it's about spiritual growth. Sometimes it can be about this. It can be about, it can be about risk taking, taking risks. Also because Jupiter in Taurus isn't the most prone to taking risks, because Taurus wants the comfort and stability, it wants the familiarity, so it's not the most comfortable with, taking risks. And so it's very, very, it struggles to take risks. And one of the lessons is to learn that it's okay to take calculated risks. Like when we take calculated risks to step out of, because if we're so stuck in a comfort zone, the certain job, the certain routine, the certain structure, the certain house, and we're noticing like a part of us like wants change and transformation and wants something different and wants something fresh and new and wants to expand in our lives and get out of that comfort zone. And when we resist that, then we do not feel at peace within ourselves. And Taurus is learning that true peace and stability and self-worth can also come through the opposite side of Scorpio, which is Taurus, which is Scorpio transformation, and being willing to change. And having an inner sense of wealth. The downside of Jupiter in Taurus is accumulating all these material possession after possession, and not feeling like it's enough. Because Jupiter can represent on the shadow side what you are overindulging in, what you are overdoing, what you're doing too much of. So Jupiter in Taurus can be overindulging in all of these, all of these buying of accumulation of, possessions and not feeling it. And all these material things really don't make it happy. Like, money cannot buy happiness. I have another podcast episode in this podcast about money cannot buy happiness. And that really is about how it truly comes down to understanding that physical things cannot give you a sense of satisfaction. It comes from your insight. It comes from you internally. It comes from you on an internal, psychological, emotional, spiritual level that gives you that sense of satisfaction about yourself and inner sense of wealth. So can you, with Jupiter and Taurus, lean into a sense of inner wealth and inner peace and abundance? It's about not becoming hoarders in your life, and accumulating all these things without appreciating it. It's about knowing when to act on opportunities when they come, knowing when to recognize, opportunities, when to really, really utilize that for your benefit. And knowing when to act on, these opportunities in a way when it comes down to it. Because these opportunities will come. It's about recognizing the opportunities and taking action on them, because life may slip you by, life may pass you by if you don't act on it. So don't hold it out because you're uncomfortable with it, it's not familiar to you, or whatever. Opportunities come to you from being patient, persistent, and building something consistently, doing the same thing over and over again. Taurus, earth signs are about consistency, doing something over and over again the same way that can eventually reach something successful, reach something that can be achieved on the mountain. Like if you climb up that mountain and put one foot in front of the other, you'll eventually reach the top. If you do the same thing over and over again the same way, then you'll eventually reach that end goal. So it grows through building something of value that lasts the test of time. It wants something long-term. It wants something that lasts a long, long time. And it wants to create beauty in its life and security in its life by, painting or anything. Music is also something very related to Taurus, because Taurus rules the throat and singing and all that. And security that person and others can enjoy in their lives. And they want to do something that brings them a sense of, prosperity. That's what they're really interested in, is doing something that brings them prosperity. And prosperity doesn't have to be, dollars and coins and, money and all those kind of things like that. And financial prosperity, material prosperity, but what makes you feel happy and abundant? Like doing these videos makes me feel very, very happy and abundant. It gives me a sense of joy and meaning to do these episodes for you. Cooking gives me that sense of happiness and abundance. Spending time with family gives me that. Listening to music that I really, really like. All those things give me happiness and abundance. And so doing really what, brings you happiness and satisfaction and, abundance, really brings you that, state of being with your life, and identifying that and embodying that and really, really living that out is really, really your growth point this lifetime when it comes to living in this material world sensually, stably, and, prosperously. In a prosperous way is what I meant to say. So that is all I have to say on Jupiter and Taurus in the natal birth chart. That is really all. This has been half an hour, and it's pretty good. I will see you back. I want to, take tomorrow off, just to, I wonder if I should. I think I'm gonna, take tomorrow off, because I'm gonna be going home tomorrow, and then look for another podcast episode on the 24th, where I will be discussing, the sun trine Pluto happening sometime this week around the 26th, 27th of May. The collective reading and the 12 sign reading, the 12 sign video for all 12 signs. So tune in for that. I hope that you found value from this video. And I encourage you to subscribe to my channel so that you join in with this community, that you don't miss what I have to offer to you and for you with astrology content and spirituality content and authenticity content that I do, which is me being my authentic self with the contemplations of the Realme podcast, music, all the things I have going on my channel. So enjoy. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'll see you back on the next episode of the Cosmic Sky podcast. Ciao. I'll be your say. if that's the right thing to say. Okay. Bye for now.